Hey, RetconRaider here, with special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Dragon Matrix 7, Mathew Smith, Revenant, Alois, Drakiith, ERV23, EgonAlter, Emile, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Nathan Welch Jr., RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. As today we kick things off by catching up with the increasingly suspicious serpent in our midst. And then after that, I guess we'll head back out to the field. I mean, as always, there are more people around town we could talk to. But I don't want to have too much talking back to back, so, we can parcel that stuff out. We've got a fair amount of time before the end of Act 3. So we should be able to intersperse the rest of the mundane conversations between bits of action. We'll catch up with Crinukh, then roll out towards the Murky Grotto. Crinukh rubs his forehead, wearing a worried expression. Listen, do you know anything about interpreting dreams? I had a profoundly weird dream recently. My brain almost exploded when I tried to think about it. Well, that does sound serious. Please, tell me more about your not at all prophetic visions. So, this is my dream. I awaken in the morning and see that I'm alone. Everyone else is gone. The Crusaders are gone. The demons are still there, of course. They're there ruining everything, even in my dreams. And I feel lost and I don't know what to do. Do I cut my wrists, run away somewhere, or bend the knee to my enemies? Why did I dream that? Crinukh scratches the back of his head pensively, and then turns to you. What about you? What would you do in a situation like that? If you were left all alone, if your friends fled or betrayed you, if you had no one to rely on, what's the way out of the situation? Gotta say, buddy, that is quite a doozy of a dream. Maybe your most apocalyptic one yet. You really think so? And here I was hoping it was a sign that money was coming my way. Sure. But to answer your question, I guess I'd just keep fighting. I've been fighting every single day since I first woke up in Canabras and Discari showed up. Don't see why I'd stop now. The kobold looks at you, pleased. You haven't disappointed me. Those were the kinds of words I was expecting from you. When everything falls apart and the war seems lost, it might be tempting to solve everything in the simplest way. By dying. But that's neither true courage, nor very imaginative. Trust me, I'm telling this from personal experience. Every defeat opens up a variety of new possibilities. If your mind doesn't cling to the past, you can spot new ways to prevail. Uh-huh. So you know where this is going, right? We need to chat about your oddly relevant anecdotes. Here we go. Every single time. What is it now? Well, I mean, last time we chatted, you told me a story about a demon hiding in a basement. And gosh, it turns out that we've got a portal leading to Demon World in our basement. Just another wacky coincidence, right? With a disrespectful snort, the kobold bursts into laughter. That's a pretty funny coincidence. You actually do have a demon in your basement, and more than one. But how could I have possibly known about that rift of yours? I never heard even a whisper about it. Trust me. Right, yeah, the sibilant hiss really sells your sincerity. All right, Crinukh. I guess we're done for now, but I look forward to having another chat After Dresden is overrun by demons and all of our friends and allies go missing? Yeah, that's something to look forward to. Good luck. I believe you'll need it. See you around, buddy. Or maybe I won't. Depending on exactly how that premonition goes. You got anything new for me, Cam? Greetings. The neat smile on Camellia's lips disappears so quickly, you almost wonder if you imagined it. So, Cam, I can't help but notice that despite your reserved and dignified mannerisms, you get pretty passionate about bloodshed. She blushes slightly and lowers her eyes. So you've noticed? To be honest, I find it embarrassing. You see, being a shaman means having spirits of battle as my ever-present companions. In the heat of combat, they become rather, vocal. Right. And does that have anything to do with the, instruments I found stashed away in Gwyrm's storage room? How kind of you to share that you've gone through the Gwyrm's dirty laundry and drawn some bizarre conclusions. If you value my company, please refrain from making such insinuations in the future. Yeah, my mistake. Not the part where I brought it up, but more just, talking to you. Let's never do this again. How about you, D? Ah, you finally remembered my existence. Darren smiles mischievously. Well, yeah, your note specifically told me to remember you. What are you talking about? Darren cast his gaze down, looking the picture of innocence. A note that was hidden in a certain place to which I had given you a key? A mere coincidence, of course. You must have come across some rubbish I'd put there by accident, and then forgotten to throw out. Right, yes, that does sound plausible. Well, my mistake. I will disregard the note and its contents, and promptly forget about you. See you around, D. It's funny, I also want to, pursue the Arushale romance arc. At least until I am forced to choose once we hit Act 5. But hers just comes so much later in the game than Darren's does. You have all this time to get attached to Darren and his antics. Well before Arushale starts trying to become the girl of your dreams. It really doesn't give Aru much of a fair shot at winning the player's heart. Much in the same way that Queen Galfrey is also technically a romance path, but you see so little of her throughout the majority of the game. Anyway, we are setting our sights on the Murky Grotto. Our primary legion is currently out of movement points, but they will be resetting before we can reach our destination. There we go. Intolerance. The hatred of the descendants of Sarkarus toward arcane spellcasters knows no bounds. The representatives of several tribes demand that mages not be allowed to serve in their units. Yeah, I'm probably not going to do that, but let's see. Agreeing gets us 12 barbarians. Disagreeing gets us 9 wizards. Which is nice in theory, but we don't have wizards, we have sorcerers. Oh wow, but wizards are slightly more impressive. Ordering the Sarkorians to knock it off gets us leadership. As does throwing a banquet. That one gets us more leadership, and a bump to morale. We don't really need the morale, but why would we not do that? And then we can also ask for a bribe, which would get us the barbarians and a truly trivial amount of gold. We're maxed out on leadership for Act 3, but we could start banking it for Act 5. Eventually, all these ranks will go up to 10. Yeah, let's just throw a party. That's just the Vex thing to do, I think. We don't really need any of those other units anyway. The Khalids and the Mages were reluctant to partake in joint revelry, but after 3 barrels of mead, they became best friends. Together, they sang several songs praising the commander's name, plus a single sad one about Sargeras. That's a good ratio. I believe Vex would approve of that as well. I'd like to go for about a 90-10 split on self-glorification versus remembrance of the people we're actually trying to save. Okay, and let's do some crusading. So human generals, as we've seen, bring nothing to the table. They're basically just placeholders. What we really have to worry about here are those 2 guys in the middle, the Nelfeshny and the Glabrizu. So they are priority targets. That's the Nelfeshny. And that's the Glabrizu. And as a bonus, we also slowed 3 of their other units, which buys us more time to whittle them down. Stink Cloud. No surprise there. We knew that was coming. Hang back. We'll let the Cavaliers take the brunt. Nice. Shields up. And charge. Double sting. Called us out. Really just clean up at this point. sheer carnage. And we're done. Not too shabby. There were some slight risks right up front, but fight was basically over after round 2. Having pushed the enemy back to the strait, the Crusaders came to a reluctant halt. On the bank opposite stood a large army of demons. Any attempt to cross would bring catastrophic losses. So the officers ordered the construction of temporary fortifications on the bank. If the demons tried to cross the strait, they would meet a hostile reception, to say the least. Which gives us access to a small new region with a couple of rank 9 armies. And a new outpost, the camp on the ferry. Let's get that set up real quick. Eventually we might want to put a teleporter on this particular fortress, since the implication is, of course, that it's right on the edge of further explorable territory. But for now, we'll just stick with the basics. We just need a supply center. And I guess some recruitment structures. We should really keep bulking up our main army. This will also help bump up our logistics, which I believe is one of the attributes we still need to max out. And that's it. I believe we've still got some movement points on Agaboya, so let's have her push up, knock out another army or two. Yeah, nothing here we can't handle. Ice Storm. And we're done. Yeah, that was much easier. The indescribably huge and formidable Demodan chief didn't even rise from the pile of treasures on which he was sitting to rebuff the attack. There he died, his loins sprawled over a pile of stolen goods and golden coins. The very nature of Demodans, their grotesque forms, and penchant for goading others to excess, doomed him to death. Gross. No, it's fine. Just leave the treasure there. We'll have someone else come out here and, pick it up later. We'll maybe, tell them to bring some gloves. We've got enough in the tank for one more. Oh, goodness. That's an immediate problem. I may have underestimated this one, I think. Nice hit. That's one down. We need to trim the edges. Yes, that's fine. It was the back line I was worried about. And we're good. The pass where Howl Eternal Predatory Winds has been taken. That is quite a name. In the times of Sargeras, the shamans used to call this place the Mountain Flute, and here summoned the spirits of the plane of air. The wisdom of Sarkorians pointed them to a place where the elemental energies are especially powerful. Which nets us more energy points per day. Very nice. That'll help us start building our stock of beer elementals. Though we are still waiting on the brewery. And that's it for now. These two should both be relatively easy. But we'll worry about that a bit later. Time for a refreshing round of mercenaries and murky grottos. Inside this gloomy cove, an underground river runs close to the surface. Nobody knows how deep the waters flow. Some say they reach the abyss itself. Okay. We'll do some careful scouting. If we spot any enemies, we'll stop to do a full round of buffs. I just don't want to burn off our buffs before we know we're ready to head into the dungeon. Nothing worse than setting up a bunch of buffs only to get hit with a time lapse or something, you know? Low-end stuff, but decent sales fodder. Hey, and more, just sitting in the bushes. It does speak well of this place's earning potential. The helmsman and the chaplain. Come over here, landwalker. The fat, pale-skinned creature is squinting with visible displeasure, shielding its bulging eyes with its webbed hands. It's so disgustingly bright, even in this cave. Why don't you come with us on a voyage? I can sell you everything you need for the journey. You do want to come back, don't you? I feel like you might be getting slightly ahead of yourself there, Charlie. Who are you, and what are you talking about? Me? Is there anything interesting to tell at all? What do you want to know? Oh, I don't know. You could start by telling me who you are. My name is known to the waves, but you can call me the chaplain. I watch over that helmsman fellow and his ship, and over the brave ones who set out to conquer Ishiar, or to become its food. And who or what is an Ishiar? Away from the world of mortals at the very roots of creation, in the place where the abyssal darkness verges on the great nothingness, lies Ishiar, the endless primeval ocean that spawned all, and will someday consume all. The proud demon lords with their realms are not but flecks of foam on its surface. Okay, I think I'm starting to get the idea here. You serve the deep ones, right? I serve a power older than mortals and demons. The shadows and the depths, the originator of waters salt and fresh. The one who awaits you, my child. You and anyone who dares go to sea. Perhaps not today. Not tomorrow, but sooner or later your travels will bring you to him, to the very bottom of the abyss. Right. A fine, upstanding fishman like yourself. What are we talking about? Cthulhu? Dagon? The shadow and the depths. The chaplain serves Dagon, the demon lord who rules over oceans and sea monsters. Yep, that tracks. So, what you got? Anything you could possibly need on your travels. Weapons, armor, potions, scrolls. Should you return from your voyage alive, don't forget to stop by. I often have new wares to sell. Why, thank you, most fishiest of mongers. No thanks needed. And polite to boot. I like you, Charlie. Alright, let's see here. Why, what have we here? Lockpicker's Kit 3. I believe that is one better than our current Lockpicker's Kit. 10,000 gold, that's not bad. Yeah, we'll budget for that. It's only net +1, but I'd say that's worth the expense. And then the rest of this is just a bunch of non-magical gear. Nothing of note there. Alright, let's see what else you got. Potions and scrolls. And right off the bat, we have a max rank Mythical Alchemist kit. Might as well grab a max level Scriber kit while we're here. And we can offset those costs by dumping our current kits, of course. Man, this will let us brew up a bunch of fun new potions. Potions of Heal, Potions of Death Ward, possibly Potions of Cleanse? We'll have to look into that. And then just pretty much all the scrolls we could ever possibly need. Plus, crafting and... Oh. We have recipes. Okay. Oh man, there's a bunch here that we don't have. I mean, I assume these are all recipes we'll find eventually anyway, but... we might as well load up on them now. We're not shy on gold. And a single tenderloin. That's not weird, but we'll take it. How about magic? Oh, wow, well, I mean, right off the bat, we just saw an Amulet of Mighty Fists +5. And he's got a pretty wide assortment of general +5 gear as well. Though, I mean, obviously that's a bit more boring than the stuff we might be able to find. These, though. Amulets of Mighty Fist +5. Ring of Protection +6. Dual Stat Belts of +6. Natural Armor +6. There is a lot of really nice stuff here that we could certainly use. Though, of course, the price tag is also on the hefty side. Even with our current bankroll, we'd only be able to pick up 2, maybe 3 of these items. And bags of holding. Which, of course, I eventually would like to purchase all of, but for now we'll just take the small ones. Thanks to the pet pals, we're not exactly hurting on carry weight. So we've got a lot to save up for. And then, of course, much like Arsino and Rathamus, he can also cast scrolls for us, which we don't need because we've got Darren. Let's get those recipes copied real quick. This taco is far too conflagrant. Okay, let's see who's at the helm.
Step closer, treasure. Young, strong, and brave, just who I need. Tell me, how would you like to get your hands on incredible riches?
A hunched creature wrapped in a threadbare cloak is beckoning to you with its long, crooked finger. Its quiet, hoarse voice is more akin to the creaking of rusty metal than normal speech. Yeah, this is a perfectly normal and not at all alarming conversation. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Call me the helmsman.
Will do, you weirdo. So, tell me more about these riches that absolutely do exist and aren't just a ruse to lure me to my doom.
Oh, the greatest treasure in the Midnight Isles. I know the way. I have a ship, but I am too old and frail to claim the treasure on my own.
Yeah, sucks. I'm sorry, did you say you're headed to the Midnight Isles? Isn't that in the Abyss?
Straight into the abyss. Don't worry. I have no stake in this foolish invasion, this farcical war. The veil between the planes is thin in this place. That is why I came here in search of brave souls. Our voyage will take us to neutral waters, to the Midnight Isles, which lie in the ocean of Ishia.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that sounds perfectly reasonable. No reason to question it. With a satisfied nod, the old man beckons you aboard the boat. Huh. Looks slightly larger on the inside than it did on the out. Let's get a gander at what we're working with here. We've got access to our stash. Very nice. Mostly just jam-packed with leftover quest items and books at the moment. We click the wheel to continue our journey. And we've got a lot of empty space here. Let's go down to the lower area. That is a suspicious amount of space. Right, guard golem. And a rest spot. But yeah, with that much open space, I have to imagine there will be a fight on this ship at some point. Possibly with the golems, possibly with something that raids the ship. Hi there. You're with the new crew, right? The elf with weathered features gives you a friendly smile. She's holding a thick, tattered notebook. I'm Asilla, the navigator. Wherever we may be sailing, I'll help you get there. Cool. So the navigator navigates, right? Unseen winds blow over Ishiar, and undertows lurk beneath its surface. No one knows them all, but I wouldn't be bragging if I said... Alright, I'll brag a little. This here notebook contains the names and directions of at least a quarter of them. Asilla proudly pats the cover of her thick notebook. Usually I charge a tidy sum for my work, but you lot are in luck. This ship goes out to places so fascinating that I come back with new notes every time. So me and the helmsman, we have a deal going. My services in exchange for the opportunity to conduct my research, without having to go ashore. Great. So what's all this about winds and undertows? Every voyage is favored by an unseen wind of fate. I've seen many winds in my time. Some brought fortune, some hardships, and some unimaginable oddities. But I've never seen a wind like the one that favors you. She freezes as if listening to something imperceptible to mortal ears, then licks her finger, holds it up in the air, and nods in satisfaction. Just as I thought. There are those who obediently go where fate takes them, but not you. You yourself drive the wind of your fate, and it only grows stronger. It's not even a wind anymore, more of a hurricane. The waves you leave in your wake will be crashing against Golarion and other planes of existence for many years to come. For some people, this journey would be their life's shining moment. But for you, it seems to be more of a brief, leisurely cruise. Interesting. Now, undertows are a whole different story. They're treacherous and fickle, and you'll feel their influence both on deck and on the shore. Whenever you land on an island, make sure you check which current has brought you there, or you might never return. Okay, noted. That does sound dire. Do you help before attacked? Oh, no, of course not. I'm a navigator, not a cutthroat. But I will help you get this bucket to where fights and treasures await you. Let me stress that they await you, not me. Rightio, thanks. The sea calls. She seems nice. Hello, treasure. Hi, yeah. Hey, I hope you don't mind me asking, but who or what are you? Call me the helmsman. Right, I got that part, but what else? I'm the one who knows the way to the treasure. The one with the ship. I have no more to say. Okay, what can you tell me about your navigator? She's a good girl, clever, hard-working. She knows so much about the seas, all those winds and currents. Yes, she has turned out to be a true gem for my ship. Cool, and tell me more about the treasures we're looking for, you weirdo. Do you know what the Midnight Isles are made of? Corpses. A collection of dead demon lords slain by the queen of the succub... The helmsman breaks into a dry coughing fit. Whoa, hold on a second. I think he just dropped a major plot point on us. The Midnight Isles are literally made up of demon lords slain by Nocticula, which would certainly explain where all of these crystals are coming from. That's a pretty huge bombshell to drop in a DLC. The first and greatest among them was Nahindri. He was rich beyond imagining. His treasures still lie scattered across the archipelago's islands, and each one points the way to another of greater value. Like links in a chain, they will guide us to Nahindri's most prized jewel. It is mine, you hear, mine! The sudden flash of emotion causes the helmsman to start coughing again. I don't need the rest. Gold, gems, enchanted items, anything you find will be yours. Just keep collecting the links of the chain for me. Help me claim the dead demon lord's treasure. Okay, well that does seem like a healthy pastime, sure. I certainly don't see how that could possibly blow up in our face. So we've got a weirdo with a skull ship looking for a dead demon lord's treasure. And not just any demon lord, but Nahindri, the guy I have to assume the Nahindrian crystals were named for. The first of the ones used to create those crystals. Oof, and we have a fair number of islands to clear. Which, from what I understand, is basically just combat filler, with a few bits and bobs of treasure and lore here and there. But you know what, that's fair. We've had a couple of talky episodes lately, so might as well have a couple of fighty ones. I figure 2 episodes might be enough to get us out to that last one. Maybe 3. That might be optimistic. Regardless, either way, we need to get our buff set up, so this seems like a good, if slightly early, place to call it. We'll hit the pause button right now. I'll set up shop in this first room, get our buff set, and we'll pick up here next time as we start grinding through this thing. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official websites. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon, the YouTube memberships, or the Nexus GG page. Links are in the description.
That is why I came here in search of brave souls.